What's the deal? What's the deal? PolitiKan the podcast. We back again here at Riverside Studios, man. Getting it popping. Gonna talk about these bad boy Clippers. You know what I'm saying? We added to the squad Demarcus Cousins. We got Rondo at the trade deadline, man. We going up, man. The Clippers are built to win it all, man. I think that they probably are the deepest team in the league, and they're by far the toughest team in the league. I'm bringing the homies, man. We're gonna talk about this. It's the deal, fools.
What up? What up? What up?
So with the addition of Demarcus Cousins, you got Serge Ibaka, you got Morris, you got Pat Bev, you got Kawhi Leonard. What team is tougher than the Clippers right now? Because they reminded me of the bad boy Pistons. You know what I'm saying? With that, just that toughness and that fortitude that they attack the game with.
Well, as Yaji Keddy is obviously letting you know that you're capping as he's putting on multiple caps. I like the addition of DeMarcus Cousins. I like the addition of Rajon Rondo. A lot of people forget they played together with the New Orleans Hornets. I mean, not New Orleans Hornets, New Orleans Pelicans. So there's that additional chemistry there. Rondo is a coach on the court, so there's a lot of things that you probably don't even have to think about when he's in the game. He can look off PG. He can look off Kawhi Leonard. He can put other players in position and take, the butt front or the front butt or whatever from anybody as far as, mouths and whatnot. But what I don't like is that reference, though, Kalum. They're not the bad boy Pistons of old because they're not the defensive juggernaut they were last year because Harold is gone. Lou Will is now gone.
Harold.
Zuba. Yeah.
Are you saying that Montrezl Harrell?
No. Montrezl Harrell.
He was offensive.
Listen, the Clippers don't ever do anything.
But he was a liability, bro.
Kalum, listen, let's think about it. The Clippers never do anything in the playoffs, ever. It's not even like me joking because I have a Laker hat on. I'm a Laker fan. I mean, statistically speaking, the Clippers suck in the playoffs, right? So Montrezl Harrell not being able to stop the Joker, whatever, no big deal. Regular season, though, like all you Clipper fans love, regular season, they kill on defense because of Beverly and Harold. We knew that. And Morris. Beverly, Harold, and Morris, they were the defensive anchors. They held it down. This year, without Montrezl Harrell, and you have Zubac in the middle, they ain't got no type of intimidation down low. Serge Ibaka has been very inconsistent because of just health in general. And then, you got PG and you got Kawhi playing, they resting some games, injured some games here and there. So they're the number one team in the NBA for three-pointers. You should tip your hat, or I'll tip my hat for you. Number one team for three-pointers. They're not number one in defense anymore. And defense wins championships. Ooh, man. I hope I wasn't capping that much, too. I like that hat, though.
I'm trying to keep my head above with all this cap that's going on. Kalum is speaking to us. First of all, take off one cap. First of all, the Clippers are not even close to the bad boys because DeMarcus Cousins does not play defense whatsoever. So that cap goes off. Second, I take off a cap. Wait, there we go. I take off a cap because my boy Mayor is right. Clippers are only known for the regular season. We're going to take off another cap. Shoot. We're going to take off another cap because PG don't even show up in the playoffs. That's the problem with the Clippers. Clippers don't need nobody else. They just need PG to step up in the playoffs. Okay. Woo. Oh, man. My neck was getting heavy with all that cap. Okay. And then with the last one, Clippers ain't the deepest, man. Clippers ain't the deepest. Y'all listen. Y'all sleeping on, there's certain teams y'all sleeping on. You gonna meet the Lakers. We already know that. You gonna meet the Lakers, but you still got to deal with the Phoenix Suns. People, they just going under the radar.
They're not the
who's the number one team in? You want to know who has
We're
the
not
deep
talking about
squad?
the best. We're talking about rotation.
If you're talking about the best, you better put Utah Jazz up in there.
Clippers shouldn't go 12 deep. Who else besides Brooklyn? I don't even think.
No, listen, no, Caleb. I don't even mean to jump in and cut off Yajaketic, but the number one team we should all be looking at right now is the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets have the most ridiculous roster. When you think about it, Aaron Gordon, who just said that he's getting the easiest buckets that he's ever gotten in his entire career, where he picked number 50 to shun and throw shade on Dwayne Wade for ruining his champion or his dunk competition championship. Like, he's walking down the middle of the court, catching the pass like this and two-hand dunking on whoever is in the key. While Jokic is taking the ugly, like, I've never seen someone slower than Dirk Nowitzki be better than Dirk Nowitzki. Like, as much as I love the Lakers, I'm most fearful of the Denver Nuggets. They got JaVale McGee, they got Joker, they got Aaron Gordon, they got Jamal Murray. You want me to continue?
And if we give a Seattle Seahawks reference, their 12th man. Their 12th man is that elevation. Because you got to go to Denver. It's a different ball game this year. We ain't up in no bubble. You got to go to Denver and play in Denver. So, I don't know. Clippers, I'm sorry. Demarcus Cousins hasn't done anything in a while. Picking up Rondo for Ronnie. Paul George ain't doing nothing. Kawhi, he'll show up. Other than that, y'all need Luke Kennard to step up. But you guys are number 1 and 3. But guess what? You know who got that number 1 defense? Them New York Knicks. Let's go, D-Rose. Always got you, bro.
What's the deal, Ronnie? You hear this shit?
Listening to this fuckery, man. These dudes just up here talking some bullshit, man. The Clippers definitely are the biggest threat to the Lakers for the simple fact that they have the versatility now. You got Rajon Rondo at point guard, which you did not have last year. He's definitely going to take the pressure off Kawhi and PG to force them to try to create for other teams. You know, let them do what they do and score. Rondo bring that championship experience, that defense, that leadership that they did not have last year. Also, switching out weak-ass Montrezl Harrell, who Montrezl Harrell puts up nice numbers. He puts up nice, decent numbers off the bench, but in reality, against a team with size, he's a liability. He was exposed last year against the Denver Nuggets because he couldn't guard Joker because Joker was way too big. He's 6'8", trying to play a big man's game. So Montrezl Harrell was not the answer. They replaced him with Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka is more long. He's more long. He's more versatile. He defends better, and he shoots. And he can shoot free throws. So the Clippers have upgraded and also bought in DeMarcus Cousins. They don't need DeMarcus Cousins to be DeMarcus Cousins of the Kings. They just need DeMarcus Cousins to be a big body, to give him some shooting, to give him some rebounding, which he can do both of those. And he's in the best shape of his life. He looks the most slim and the most trim that he's ever been. So not saying he's going to be that beastie DeMarcus Cousins. They don't need him to do that. They just need another big body, which allows them to have him to make Anthony Davis play defense. So we don't even know how to, like I said, AD or LeBron's going to look, so I'm not even going to get on the Lakers. I got to see how healthy AD or LeBron is before I give a true assessment on the Lakers. The Denver Nuggets, like I think Alvin was saying, the Denver Nuggets are a problem because Joker is an all-star. I think the Clippers could beat the Lakers. I think the Clippers are going to struggle with Nuggets because not only last year, but added Aaron Gordon to the mix, adding JaVale McGee to the mix. Now they got supersized, and now Michael Porter Jr. has taken the next step in his career. Michael Porter Jr. is a superstar. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Clippers do with the Denver Nuggets. As far as the Lakers, I'm not worried about. The Lakers are in trouble. The Lakers are in trouble. That's just a fact. It's not coming from a hater standpoint. LeBron got the high ankle sprain. AD got the Achilles thing. Lakers are in trouble. We're going to see how they look when they get healthy, though.
But my thing is, that's 5 people. That's not deep. That's 5 people.
Who
do the Clippers got on their bench?
I didn't name the whole
Actually,
team.
it's 4
I can tell you that. I can tell you that. They got Patrick Beverly also. They got Luke Kennard, a great 3-point shooter. They got what's it? Zubac. Zubac is serviceable big man. It's serviceable. That's all. You don't need him to be great.
You're just throwing names now.
No,
Ronnie,
these are the people that's on the team.
Hey, I just want to let you guys know I just got a text message because I got sources. Not in the NBA though.
I've seen Terrence Mann balling. Are you going to deny that Terrence Mann is not a baller right now?
Hold on, Caleb.
Terrence Mann is more of a baller than THT.
Caleb,
y'all just lost a 20. Y'all lost one of your best shooters off the bench. Best scorer off the bench.
Can you wait? Hold on, Ronnie, and thank you, y'all. That's where I was trying to segue. I got the text, Caleb. I got the text from the plug. The plug said that the Clippers only were able to stay afloat as long as they were because Lou Will was really the engine behind the Clipper Nation.
Stop.
Because he was there. No, listen to me. I'm, I don't care at all about the Clippers, but right now we're talking politics, right? We're politicking, so I'm not going to be biased, right? Lou Will was there when CP3 was there. There was a culture that was created when Lob City first started. DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, CP3, Lou Will off the bench, and then you had a lot of other pieces that fell into place. Regardless how many coaches, regardless how many players, Lou Will was one of the only players still there. Him and Jamal Crawford, when you had them both at the same time, which everybody was like, well, how is that even possible? But Lou Will was that guy that kind of kept everybody aware that, hey, regardless what the haters say, we got something. Like, we are Clipper Nation. Like, he was the one that made Patrick Beverly and Montrezl Harrell get as cocky as they were. If he didn't turn them up last year and let the dog out of them, because they were always dogs. They were chain dogs on the, nice spike in the ground, and they could go so far. But he was the one that let him off the leash. He was the one that brought him out. And that's why he said, if I get traded, I'm willing to retire because I gave everything I could. You name me one other player that's fought to stay with the motherfucking Clippers.
Okay,
you tell me one. No. Be honest, Caleb. No,
talk about
that's the point. No,
Caleb.
Caleb, we're not talking about. No, you told me. Caleb, you told me you was on flavor, Caleb. I got you now, Caleb.
You keep throwing in.
No. Wait, y'all.
So hell, get your ass out. The Lakers, you can have them. Lakers, you can have my scraps. You can have that.
You told me, Caleb.
You couldn't get you out of here on the off season.
Okay,
we ain't going forward with you. You knew you was getting traded.
Let him die out. Hold on, I'm on my Kevin Hart. Let him die out. Now, Caleb, you told me you was on Let Me Have It about my Lakers. That's why I came fresh like Stephen A. But now, since we talk about your boys, I gotta let you know the truth. The Clippers don't have an identity except being the little brothers to the Lakers their entire existence.
Identity.
No.
Championship.
That's fine.
The Lakers didn't have no identity until what? They won a bubble championship. What was the identity of the Lakers?
But remember,
so you can't remember.
That was number 17. Caleb, that's number 17.
They had no identity until y'all made 102 moves.
Number
17.
Thank you. That's number 17, Caleb. You gotta remember your Clippers. You know who's the best player in Clipper Nation history? Is Ron Harper when he got drafted. You look it up right now because I did my research today, baby. I swear to God, look it up right now. Ron Harper, when Ron Harper was drafted in the NBA, they called him the Baby Jordan. That's the only reason why he ended up with the Chicago Bulls. But no, Ronnie, I'm not trying to take it there, but the reason why I'm saying, I got you, y'all. Hold on, give me 30 seconds. The reason why I say that is that players who come to the Clippers like Quentin Richardson and Darius Miles, the best things they do is when they leave the Clippers and they make podcasts. So the Clippers have never had an identity. They've never had an identity except being little brother. Now this year, I give you respect, Caleb. The Clippers have an arsenal of players that could contend in the playoffs. But if we go, wait, because I got past it. If we go up, what's your question?
Do you think that THC is better than
Hell no. Stop. Go ahead, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't even answer that. I'm on my
My
Stephen A.
question, my
Are you
question
really on this THT board, man?
Well,
Like,
why you put your hand up?
THT is, I mean, honestly, if
I don't
people were
believe it.
paying more attention to him in the G League, you would have him as the top 3 players for Sixth Man of the Year right now if you saw what he was doing in the G League before he got to the Lakers. But go ahead, yeah. I'll be quiet.
my question is to the Clipper Nation. You named off Rondo. Rondo's good. You named off Demarcus Cousins. He hasn't even played in a while. So we're going to throw him out.
That's
You
why he didn't
named
get a bubble
Kawhi.
championship.
Kawhi shows up. Cool. My question is, you keep going and saying PG, PG, PG. PG has not shown up in the playoffs for like the last, what? He's been with the Clippers 2 years now?
Bro, this is coming from a Derrick Rose fan. How are you talking when Derrick
Oh,
Rose?
whoa. Time out. Don't
talk about Demarcus Cousins.
Derrick Rose is doing this thing. You're going off a bench player.
Derrick Rose was injured for like 4.5 years straight. And you arguing with this dude to the death of him.
But okay, they don't want it. They don't want it. I'm about to give you my bag. Yeah, I was being nice and everything. Y'all comparing. You know what? You know what Derrick Rose and PG-13 got in common? They both missing the championship. Oh, but guess what though?
Wow.
Derrick Rose, he's been injured, right? He hasn't even been to the playoff. Actually, when he was in the playoffs with Minnesota, he was cooking. He was cooking in the playoffs against the Rockets. What has your boy Paul George done in the playoffs?
Exactly. Oh, we gotta move
exactly.
So not even make the playoffs.
So we gotta get
wrong. Go do your homework, Ronnie. Right. Minnesota did make the playoffs when Derrick Rose was
trash. It's all trash. Schroeder's out of there. LeBron.
So all I'm saying is y'all comparing Derrick Rose. Y'all comparing Derrick Rose that hasn't been in the playoffs does that make you think that Paul George is trash? Because you compare. Oh wait, let me talk to you. Wait, he on this side. Let me talk to Alvin right quick. Hey Alvin, let me ask you a question, bro.
Y'all desperate trying to get KCP out of there.
Let me ask you a question right quick.
Trying to get Caruso, but he ain't no trade bait because he tried.
The question is
your only bait, and he just came from the G League. Your best trade piece was a G League player.
Let me ask you a question right quick, Alvin. Let me ask you a question right quick, Alvin. When I presented my question, when I presented my question about Paul George, the response was Derrick Rose. So my question to you is, if their response is Derrick Rose, who hasn't done anything, right? So doesn't that mean that if you're going to compare Derrick Rose to Paul George, doesn't that mean Paul George is on the same level as Derrick Rose?
If you listen, you didn't listen to what I said. This is what I say.
High five.
People don't listen for understanding. I'm not comparing the two players. Just listen to what I said. I said, how are you getting on Paul George and what he's done for the last couple playoffs? But you always talk about how great Derrick Rose is going to do and what he's going to do. He ain't done shit. How are you advocating for somebody who ain't done shit, but you getting on Paul George for not doing shit? Listen to what I said. You're not making any sense.
Derrick Rose came back from his. Derrick Rose has came back from it.
What has Derrick Rose done?
Derrick
Why
Rose
are you advocating for somebody that ain't did shit? I don't understand.
Oh, Derrick Rose. If Derrick Rose hasn't done anything, why did? Hey, could you show your shirt right quick? Could you show your shirt right quick? Show your shirt.
No.
Show your shirt. Show your shirt.
Oh, this nigga, why you wearing that shit,
If Derrick Rose hasn't done anything, why did that team want Derrick Rose on their team? If Derrick Rose hasn't done anything, why did your Clippers want Derrick Rose as well? So if he's that garbage, why your teams want him?
They didn't
Them
want
niggas still weak, man. So let's get to this NFL, man. The NFL draft coming up. Trevor Lawrence is obviously going number one. Who do y'all feel like is the best prospect in this NFL draft? I think Kyle Pitts from Florida, the tight end, he ran a 4.4. He did like something ridiculous amount of reps for the 225 as far as the bench press, all the measurables, man. He got the film, he got the measurables, everything is lining up. I feel like he's the best football prospect in this draft. Also, my cousin Tyler Vaughns from USC, he's entering in this draft. I see him going between the third to fifth round. So it's good to see a family member make it, man. So we room for Tyler. So put y'all bid in, man. But who y'all think is the best prospect in this NFL draft?
I'll
I hate
exit.
to
I'll
go ahead,
exit
go
right
first.
now. I haven't watched anything.
Oh,
I don't really watch the whole prospects and everything like that. So I don't know who's in it or what's going on. So I will exit stage 9 on this.
I'm gonna just jump in because I'm a lot like y'all. I don't really mess with too much of football. You know me, I love my basketball. I almost dropped my phone. But what I did notice was that in the top 5 picks, as I have it on my phone right here, there's an outside linebacker, Penny CL. I don't know, Swell from
He's a big ass dude.
huge, 6'6", 330. Like, dude's quick, he's strong. And I don't know why, but when it comes to football, even though it always feels the fans come to see touchdowns, it's crazy to see how much the offensive line and the defensive line gets respected by the quarterbacks, the outside linebackers, middle linebackers, safeties, and all that. Like, Russell Wilson bought everybody stuff. Like, it's cool that, like, I don't know, I got a lot of boys I guess are big, you know what I'm saying, and they like the line. So it's cool to see somebody working hard enough to be a top 5 prospect. So I'm going with him just because he's a bigger dude. Because quarterbacks always have the ball in their hands, so why wouldn't they be highly sought after?
What you got for us, Ronnie?
Well, the NFL draft, obviously, we got the top 5 picks. I usually,
The slave
I'm not
auction, the NFL draft. The slave.
I really don't rock with the NFL draft too much. I usually wait till the season starts to really get into it. But I was noticing some names like Alvin was saying. Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, he's projected to go first. Big ass motherfucker. He's 6'6" quarterback. Long with the field vision. You already know with tall quarterbacks, you got that field vision. So it's just going to be interesting to see, how he can translate that game to the NFL, because we saw the Cam Newton 6'6", and Cam Newton was great for a minute, but it looks like he had a short window to try to be great. And, with the quarterback position, there's no shortage of good quarterbacks. So it's going to be interesting to see what he actually does. I did see Asante Samuel Jr. down there. Of course, we know his father, the great defensive player his father was. But it's going to be interesting to see. It's a wait and see type of thing for me. I want to see what the projected number 1 pick does. And it's also the quarterback position of Zach Wilson out of BYU to see what these guys do at the quarterback position. Because, we've seen guys like Mahomes and, Lamar and, all those guys of the future. So it's always interesting to see the quarterbacks and what they're going to do.
Hopefully they can last all 17 games.
I don't know, man. For real, they talking about having a full capacity by the middle of the season. So the NFL is ramping to get back to business as usual. So we'll see how that goes. And I know I'm trying to get to that Super Bowl, no matter where it's at. So
Bro, you ain't never lie.
You know what I'm saying? I hope they get to the end, because I'm trying to get to that Super Bowl. But let's get to the boy, the man of the week, man, Paul Pierce, man.
Yes,
So Paul Pierce, you know what I'm saying, got fired from ESPN after going live on Instagram. And during his live, he was getting his hair cut at a barbershop. And he was consuming marijuana while there was entertainment in the background. You know what I'm saying? And he was telling other entertainment that they should pull up because they can make some money. So what do y'all think about what's going on with Paul George? I mean, Paul Pierce. And do you think that he should have lost his job for this?
I think Paul Pierce, like, to be honest, I didn't really like him as an analyst. I think he was kind of like bitter. Like certain players, he'll just be like, they ain't good back in my day kind of thing. And if like I got my championships, and yeah, I just didn't really I will rock with what's his name? Perkins. I like Perkins more than I like Paul Pierce as an analyst. So
man, you missing the point, man. It's not about what you like, it's about does he deserve to get fired for what happened? Like it ain't got
I ain't missing the point if you be quiet and let me talk.
God damn, you talking about some other shit.
Damn. So I'm saying, if you guys asking for my damn opinion, I'm giving you my damn opinion. I didn't like him as an analyst in the first place, so him getting himself fired, it don't matter.
It don't matter because you didn't like him.
He got himself fired. Who else got himself? He got himself fired.
And that's the problem I have with your whole view. You're not looking at it from a black man's point of view. You're looking at it on some other weird shit.
The black man got himself fired.
We're talking about look. We're talking about the fact that this man was on camera being a grown ass man, not doing nothing illegal, smoking on legal weed, drinking on legal drink, getting a haircut, enjoying himself, and he got fired. Now, do you think a white analyst would have got that same treatment? I remember Marv Albert, one of them sportscasters did some weird shit with kids or something. I forgot I gotta look it up. One of them ESPN announcers did some weird shit, and they ended up working on the network again. Like this type of shit only happens to niggas in America, and you can't.
Wait. You say he
gotta recognize as a black man.
All right.
He's being unfairly treated.
You talking?
He's being unfairly treated.
How is he being? That's so narrow-minded. That's so narrow-minded.
How is that narrow-minded?
Because, well, let's go back to what you said. You said the white man. So technically, the white man got fired and got rehired again.
No, he didn't get fired. He continued to work. Nothing happened to him. And Robert Kraft as well. Mm-hmm. Robert Kraft is. Do you know who Robert Kraft is? The owner of the New England Patriots. This man,
okay, yeah, the owner of the New England Patriots, the owner of the New England Patriots got caught at the massage parlor getting happy endings, and then the feds rushed it, and he been to that location some 350 something times, and he went to court.
Going back to
took a plea deal and actually was guilty of what he was being accused of, and the NFL didn't levy no fine. Did it even get any type of media play? No, nothing happened to this white man. But when the black man, his whole life.
Going back to the question of Paul Pierce and everything, and this is where the bullshit comes in. I'll just take me, for example. If I'm working at a job and that job says you can't smoke on the job. You can't smoke marijuana on the job. Okay, you can't smoke marijuana on the job. Okay, cool. It's a part of.
He wasn't on the
job. Let me finish. Okay, so if they say you can't smoke on the job, Yajaketic, and let's say I smoke before work, right? And they decide to give me a drug test, and it shows that I have it in the system, and I get fired. Whose fault is that?
That ain't the same thing. What are you talking about?
It's my fault. It's not
even the same
thing. If in his contract or whatever, he has to portray a certain image, and he gets on his live you're still a public figure. At the end of the day, he got fired for what he did. There's consequences for his actions. But what we like to do is go, instead of taking responsibility for his or us going, well, you know, white people get away with it. Well, damn it, you already know certain white people get away with it. So grow the fuck up and stop crying about what white people do and know that you got to present yourself in a certain way. But you rather cry about what white people do. So therefore,
you sound like a white boy,
white
dog.
people
You
get
sound
away
like a
with
white
certain
man
things.
trapped in a black nigga's body, man. That's what you sound like.
My
You sound like
turn.
a white boy
Hey, I'm
trapped in a
waiting.
black
No,
man's body.
it sounds like
You sound ridiculous, bro.
No, you sound like you're crying over what you always
I'm
complaining
about
about
to
white people.
6'1" and come down here and experience some real shit, because that's some bullshit.
What the hell are you talking, bro?
Shit.
Every place
you
ain't like
complaining
about white people. That's what there's different levels to this, bro. There's different levels to this, bro. When you get over what white people do and start worrying about what you do, it's a different ballgame, bro. Don't come at me foul,
it ain't that simple. You obviously living in a bubble your whole life.
It is that simple.
You've been living in a bubble your whole life. You need to experience.
You don't know what I've been through, bro.
You living in a bubble, bro.
All right.
You don't know what I've been through, bro. You don't know what I've been through, bro.
Talking like that.
Don't put me in this. Don't put me in this, bro. You don't know what I've been through, bro.
Talking like that.
You don't know what I've been through, bro.
Can I get mine? Gentlemen, can I get mine?
Yes.
No, man. No.
Gentlemen.
You don't know what I've been through, bro.
This nigga sounds crazy, bro.
You got the floor. Let's go.
Gentlemen. All right. Now, as I'm dressed up as Stephen A. Smith today, as I'm dressed up like Stephen A. Smith, you know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, as both Ronnie and Vegetative are talking about, if this was a job, you see I'm trying to be sarcastic with voices and shit. If this was a job, I know my image is not just going to turn off between the hours of, 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. if I work 9 to 5. So if I know my job is being watched by so many different people, I have to know that if I do anything legal or illegal, motherfuckers is going to talk. And if it's talking enough to where it's going to affect their pockets, they're going to let me go. Now, yes, how many white people have done a lot of shit that we know they should have never done to begin with and got away with it? That is what America is built on. So to continue to beat around the bush and talk this same shit makes all of us look like dumbass niggas to begin with. Second key point. Paul Pierce is the truth, and that name doesn't even fit his fucking character or his career in the NBA. I loved everything. Listen to me. I don't care. I loved everything he did at Inglewood. I love everything that is about his game because he's not extremely athletic. He has a high basketball IQ. Things he did like dribble like this and talking his shit, game 7, and take the step back and hit the 3. I'm not saying nothing about who he is or who he was as a player, but he has a great name. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody got their little like basketball name. It's a great name, the truth. Oh my God, AI was the question or the answer, however you want to fucking look at it. But Paul Pierce wasn't bringing in the numbers. That's why they dropped his ass so fucking fast. They didn't even have a reason to let him go beforehand. He signed a contract. He sat there and watched my face. He made all kinds of faces like that before he said the shit that Vegetative is saying, which I stand by too. Not even just as a person who loves basketball, but just like, nigga, not everything you fucking say, not everything you say has to be based on when you played. Shaq does it. Candace Parker flames the hell out that nigga on TNT right now, and it's funny as hell. Dwayne Wade comes in smooth as hell with his son, all that shit going on, and he just does what he does. Paul Pierce was the only person that was acting so entitled. Like anything that went down with the Boston Celtics, he acted like he was in the middle of it every single time. When the shit with Rondo and KG and him and Perkins and all this shit, he kept talking, well, you know, when I, like they were waiting. No disrespect to us as black men, but if we don't see the opportunity to step up and level up as an opportunity to not get seen and shit like that, like if I reached over here right now and grabbed a blunt and I lit it, how much respect would I lose from the kids that know me? Regardless if I'm on the clock or not. So that's that nigga's fault. He deserved what he got because we are
What?
set up
I
to.
can't believe this shit.
Listen,
Y'all
I'm
niggas
saying,
Oh,
crazy.
come
listen,
on,
Ronnie,
It's
I'm
gonna be your
saying,
I
turn
can't
next.
fuck with that
Ronnie,
shit.
You up
I
next,
can't
But
fuck
Ronnie.
with
when
that
like
shit.
Yeah,
we
you
don't
it's
next.
we
Ronnie,
don't
wait,
we don't
Ronnie,
take
I
listen to
can't
me,
fuck with that.
responsibility for our actions.
I
You're
can't
not
fuck
letting
with
me
that
finish.
shit. Y'all weird for that.
If he was smoking and he was getting his haircut, and that was it, that's one thing. How many niggas don't smoke while they get a haircut? But the fact that he had the strippers too is
So,
why the. No, I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm saying as a network, that's why they cut him.
but he was
The
on
ESPN,
his own
problem is
personal
it don't
time.
matter. It don't
the
matter.
problem
That
is not
it
what he
don't matter.
did. It's
Shannon
because he
Sharp,
went live with it.
Shannon
So
Sharp,
what?
Shannon Sharp
Okay.
brings Black and Miles to fucking Fox Sports Net every day. He talks more jigaboo and with Skip Bayless than anybody we know on TV right now. We all love Shannon Sharp. We all love what they do at Undisputed. The only difference is Paul Pierce thought he had more clout than what he has. He was easily removed from ESPN because this nigga wasn't anything. If what he was on the court translated to what he is as a commentator, he wouldn't have been let go. No difference than Dwayne Wade's personal issues with his family and his children. If they were worried about the LGBT community and how people would perceive that, they would have dropped Dwayne Wade.
So
They
so
didn't.
you and Yajaketed are both saying that because he wasn't that good at his job, that he
That's
didn't
why he
have the
got.
clout
No,
to do
listen.
what he
They
did.
were
No,
waiting.
what
So
I'm
They
because
were.
saying,
if he was
No.
Michael Jordan, the broadcaster,
Caleb.
then he could
No.
do what he
Caleb.
did and get away with it. But because
Caleb.
he wasn't per
No.
se your favorite
No.
or
No.
what I'm
doing the best
You
saying.
guys
numbers,
aren't listening.
then he
You
gets
guys.
canned
That's not
because
what I'm
Caleb.
he's
Caleb.
expendable because he's
Caleb.
not that
that's
good.
not what
So
I'm
Caleb.
saying.
now everything is you
You
talk
and
about
Ronnie.
clout. Y'all talk about clout and cap, but that's cap because it's based off
No.
of the clout that
Caleb.
you have. If he wasn't bringing in the numbers, so now he's expendable. That
Caleb.
That's not what
literally
I'm
just
saying.
came out
Caleb.
your mouth. That's a
Caleb.
statement
That's
that
a
came out of
job.
you and
That's a
Yajaked's mouth.
job. That's
Oh,
a job.
Yajaked said he didn't like him. He wasn't that good.
It's a
So
Yeah,
he
job.
can go.
It's a job. It's a job.
it's a
Listen,
job.
the
So
only
At
get
the
reason
end
why.
of
fired
the
over
Listen,
day,
being
hold on,
garbage and
hold on.
not over
Tell me
Instagram
where.
Live.
Wait,
Get
Ronnie, help
fired
me
over
with
no.
this.
being sorry at
Ronnie,
your job
So
and not
so
over
when is a
Instagram Live.
person?
Ronnie,
My
but
question
tell me
is,
this. Hold on, y'all. Let me get this last point. I swear to God, I'll pass
yeah,
it on. Let me get this last point. If this is America and we know white is white, black is black, when the fuck has a white man or a black man been in a position that they don't necessarily need to be in, and a black man do what niggas do, and a white man does what white people do, and a black man doesn't get the worst disciplinary action than a white man? Tell me when that's never happened. Only because he decided to act, I'm flossing. Only because of that did he get fired. Other than the fact he sucked at his job. They weren't going to let him go. He signed a contract. ESPN analysts signed contracts. He
right.
he held up everything on the contract, A to Y. And Z probably was, you cannot deface our company, personally or professionally. So if you make us look bad, that gives us the opportunity to fire you on the spot. I've worked jobs where I am an image of the job, and if I cross the line, I lose my job. It's a job. This
How do
isn't
they
a
look
pot.
bad though? I don't
No,
understand.
Okay,
the
How are they
reason
so
looking
why,
bad?
listen,
go
because
ahead, Ronnie.
to
Floor
me
is
it looks
Ronnie.
bad
Let's
because
hear
he
Ronnie.
wasn't bringing in the numbers. Skip Bayless left and started his own shit at Fox Sports Net because he brought in the numbers. He
Well,
brought in the numbers and left and did his
Come
own thing.
on, cut it, Ronnie. Ronnie, let's
Go
hear
ahead,
your.
Ronnie. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
where is he looking bad at? You saying they're making the company look bad? Where is it? How is Paul Pierce being on a live doing what he was doing? How is that going to hurt numbers? That don't make no sense.
No,
That's
when
not going to
Paul.
make people
No,
listen.
Ronnie.
Hold
What
up,
I'm saying
hold up,
is he was
hold up,
already
hold up.
letting the numbers drop
That's
because nobody watched when he was on. When's the
but
last
that's
time you
not
seen
going to
Paul
make
Pierce
people
on
stop
TNT?
watching. That's not going to make people stop watching ESPN because he was doing that. That's not going to happen. That's not going to make fans go away because he was doing that. That don't make no sense. That's not
It
hurting
does.
anything. Him
If
smoking,
the
It does.
fan, no,
strippers, and drinking, that's
ESPN,
not going to
when
hurt the
you
brand
ESPN is with
whatsoever.
Disney.
yes, it,
But do you know that
when you
ESPN
do
is with? Hold on. Do you know that ESPN is with Disney? Do you know
So
what ESPN is with Disney? So that's not just ESPN's guidelines; it's Disney's guidelines as well. It's many subliminal messages that Disney puts in cartoons. If they chose to say, if you smoke weed publicly, you're fired, and he knew it and signed the contract. Why does he not deserve to lose his job?
But you're not answering the question. How is
That
that hurt?
is
You said it was going to hurt the brand. How is it
It hurts
hurting
the
the brand?
brand because
It hurts the brand because
whoever decided to write the list of things, whatever the policies were, whatever the character criteria was, if you decide to, like right now, if they told us we all could go and take our show to ESPN, the only thing you guys can't do is you can't drink on set or you can't drink on live, and you can't smoke on live when you're at home. Like you can't look like you do what you do. Like you just got to have a decent image. And we don't do that, and we lose our job. Why is it their fault?
But that's cool. I don't see how you can be a black man in America with all this bullshit that go on all the time and be okay with that shit happening. Just because it always happens, how are you okay with that happening? I just don't see that. That's shit weird as fuck to me. On God, that's shit weird.
All right.
We gotta tap.
My nigga, that shit weird.
At the end of the day,
nobody said it was okay. Nobody said
at the end of the day,
good job.
you got to take. At the end of the day, Paul Pierce has to. When is Paul Pierce going to take responsibility for the actions that he did? So if he's not going to take, and the whole thing is, if you got to take responsibility for your actions, and when it comes to taking responsibilities for your actions, doing something on a job or whatever, off the job or whatever, you're still a public figure for that company. So therefore, he got fired because of his actions. But instead of us going, oh, well, you know what? His actions have something to do with it. It goes, well, white people get away with it. So why can't he get away with it? And when is Paul Pierce going to take responsibility for his actions? He
Paul
did what he
Pierce
did.
We're talking Paul Pierce.
My problem with it is that white people love to partake in the culture, love to dabble in it, but don't want it to represent them. I came from a building in downtown San Bernardino, the 320 Premier Hall. I moved into this studio telling the operator that I was going to be running a music studio. We started to do events that were successful in this man's building, and he purposely derailed me and tried to slow my business because he didn't want his building being known for hip hop. But he was pretty quick to profit off of it. And that's my problem with the industry. It's not that you're absolutely correct. We got to take responsibility. We're not in the same boat as the white people. We can't just go out and do nigga things on the internet because we think it's cool and think that it ain't going to be no ramifications to that. But at the same time, you got to understand that systematically, this is why Matt Barnes and them is going to do all the smoke. This is why Shannon Sharp has his own club, Shay Shay. This is why we have this platform here. And Paul Pierce understands that. And this is why he was laughing at ESPN. Because he like, you think that you can shelf me by firing me? You're just releasing me. Because I can go and I can create on my own. So whether you like him, Vegetative, or you like him as an announcer, he's going to start his own platform, and the people that do like him are going to go over there with him, and they ain't going to be watching ESPN no more. So whoever was there for Paul, going to go with him to where he's going. And that's the new dynamic of platforms like the one we have here.
Yes,
so
sir.
We're not slaves.
There's no problem with that.
We can do whatever we want. And if you don't like it, then I'll pack up and I'll go to where I gotta go because I don't have to. I'm not stuck with representing ESPN, Fox, CBS, and ABC. It was 5 conglomerates that you were forced to represent. That is dead. And that's why I can go live in my personal life. And if you don't like it, I can do whatever the fuck I want because I have the power to create my own platform and take my demographic with me. And LeBron showed that when he left to Miami, that we are no longer slaves to this construct.
But Caleb, check this out.
That the black man came out, did his thing. He laughed at him and flexed because he like, man, you think you
that's a good thing. But
you cannot stop a black man on a mission.
Caleb, I'm not knocking. No, Caleb, look. I know Vegetative is not going against what you're saying, and neither am I. The only thing that's funny about what you just said, everybody you said minus him already created their platform and was doing it without already getting that check. If Paul Pierce bounces back and he does his own thing, just like a lot of ex-NBA players do, much respect to him. But just remember that when he decided to do what he did and it cost him his job, why did he do it, though? What was he really doing it for? Because everybody threw these memes out of how he only had like 315 people following, blah, 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 blah. But you have to then step back. I'm lucky to be on the PolitiKan podcast with you guys, part of the broadcasting family or whatever, knowing that I can do what I want, wear a button up and a tie and all that good shit with a hat and feel fresh. But at the same time, maybe he's not exactly who we think he is. Maybe he's not the truth of old. Because if he's getting a haircut, and he's smoking weed and he got strippers and he's motherfucking NBA champion, what do I need to go live for to show you that I got some strippers that don't even got no enhancements? I'm smoking on some booth, more than likely because he wasn't coughing. I'm just saying, like, how I looked at it, it hurt me internally because I said, if I was ever going to try to jigaboo to get niggas to think I had, like, I'm still with y'all, even though you see me fucking around on this live or on the podcast or whatever, I would have did it better than that. And if it was going to cost me a job that might have been something that was feeding my family, it's going to be something different than that too. So that's where I just want to make sure you get where I'm coming from. And I know that's where y'all's coming from too. Because, you know, we always pushing that positive shit. We always pushing the community. We always pushing the kids and all that. And we are black men in America. We know the system's fucked up. There's no getting around it. But if he was someone we all looked up to because he made it into a new pinnacle that we hadn't reached yet, how the fuck you fall off like that, my nigga? Like, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I'm saying. And I know y'all's not going to come at it the same way, but I'm hoping I'm speaking for both of us, where it's like, we're both right and wrong at the same time because he knows he could have did better.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's able, if he was looking to get fired so
Right.
he can be able to
could
do
be it too. Yeah.
Maybe he was looking to get fired so he can go and do what he wants to do. I don't have a problem with Paul Pierce doing what he wants to do. Take ownership for what you want. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, for me, is if it's based upon his ESPN contract or whatever, he's the one that signed it up on the dotted line and said, hey, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Same thing as if I got to go to work and they tell me this is the certain dress code you got to wear. If I'm working at a certain company that's wearing, if I'm working at freaking, I don't know, UPS, I'm working at UPS and I come in some freaking postal service outfit, they're going to be like, no, that's not our image. You got to get rid of, you're wearing the wrong image. And if I keep doing it, I get fired. But if I go, hey, well, white people get away and get to do whatever they want. Okay, cool. That's true. There's nothing wrong with that. White people get away with a lot of stuff, which is going to be the transition into, they may get away with they're getting away with not even having to deal with first-degree murder on George Floyd. Okay, we know white people get away with stuff. But also at the same time, I got myself fired. Why I got myself fired? Because I decided to breach the contract.
Oh my
so
God.
If he was looking to breach the contract, cool. Paul Pierce, go do your thing.
You gotta look at both sides, man. Why do you guys not look at both sides?
No, what other? Wait, no, Ronnie, go ahead, Ronnie. Give the other side that doesn't have a bad responsibility. Right.
Yes, we gotta take responsibility. Yes, we gotta.
But do we have to put everything in the private, in the public though? You know, like, look, Ronnie. Ronnie, right now. What if I smoke right now? If I smoke right now, what would that do to my image? You know what I'm saying? It's about who you are and taking ownership in it.
Look. Yes, you're right. Yes, we got to take ownership. We got to take responsibility. That's one side of it. But how do you just ignore the other side of it? You have to ignore the systematic side is bullshit.
No,
like Kalum said.
But that's why we're doing it here. But that's why we're doing it here.
Like Kalum was saying, the systematic part of it. Why in the hell are we ignoring the fact that they like to profit off of us? They like to use our talents, but they want to bottle us up. Just how they try to make that dress code when Allen Iverson kind of bridged the gap with hip hop in basketball. Allen Iverson kind of brought hip hop to basketball, and the NBA was using hip hop at their halftime performances at All-Star Weekend. They was using a lot of hip hop things. They want to profit off of us, but they want to bottle us up. They want to bottle us up and try to control us. Why do we not have a problem with them trying to do that to us and control us? That man wasn't doing anything wrong. You talk about protecting and
no.
And kids watching this and kids watching that and Disney and ESPN,
no, Ronnie, I got you, Ronnie.
And all of that bullshit.
I'm coming to your side. Like, I swear to God, I come to your side right now. Two sentence answer, right? Two sentence answer. If we're coming from the side of being a black man and that's messed up that he lost his job because he's just doing the same thing that anybody else would do, if we're looking at being a black man in America, regardless if we had dads or not or uncles or not to project the right image into us, we know we're already 2 checks out, right? We're already 2 strikes out of 3 out the game. We're black and we're males. We know that everything we do, everyone else wants to do. We know everything that women want, doesn't matter any nationality, they want it from us, especially the children, because they look great when they come from black men, right? And the third thing is what we're capable of doing with little or next to no education, right? So if the system's fucked and we can all agree upon that, that's why we're privileged to be on the PolitiKan broadcast or a broadcasting company, like Kalum said, like you said. What necessarily could have went different than what happened when he chose to go live? You get what I'm saying? Like, I get everything, but the only problem is he's not Kalum. You get what I'm saying? Like, he's not the CEO of his own shit. He's an employee.
But how do we know what was in that contract, though?
No. But see, that's no. The only reason why I said the contract part was because I've worked for a multitude of companies that if their image reaches children at any way, shape, or form, that anything related to sex, drugs, and alcohol is an instant termination. From Boys and Girls Club. No, listen to me. From Boys and Girls Club. No, with black men. I don't know about white men. But with black men in the school districts, if you ever get caught in a classroom, in a cafeteria, in an office, and any woman of any nationality said they felt uncomfortable with you in that room and there's no one else to witness, you're fired. If you're a mentor like I am on campus and a teacher says, oh, I don't like, and I've had it happen to me multiple times, I don't like the way that he goes into classrooms and interrupt classrooms. No, I'm called into the class to talk to the kids, and the teacher gives me that allotted time. But because it was a white man who said it, I got reprimanded for it. And I knew what I was doing, but I decided to maneuver through it differently. And that's me trying to do me and my job. Now, if Paul Pierce is in a position like we don't know, and that's the whole thing. Paul Pierce, for us, we think of the truth. We think about the guy who had a Nike contract, but we don't know how long his contract lasted. So we don't know if he's getting money like Allen Iverson's getting Reebok money, right? We don't know if he's making extra money outside of ESPN because we don't know shit about him. His Instagram is very dry, very dry. So when I'm telling you that when he went live and it was like, whoa, bro, you got the strippers, you got the blood going up, you getting a haircut, like, my nigga, and you almost do like this. Where have you been? Where have you been since you retired from the league at the with the Clippers, where any of this is something that we could just slap you on the wrist and let you keep going? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the part that hurts me, is that I look up, like, I hated Paul Pierce because he was a Clipper. I'm sorry, he was a Celtic, but he was from LA. So it was like, man, I watched it. I YouTubed his footage. I saw what he was about. But it lets me down as a basketball fan. That I'm like, bro, you're telling me of all times that you could have smoked big blunts and had strippers in your spot, that you do it now after you're retired and everybody's not really talking about you? And then, oh yeah, the truth shall set you free. Unless Kalum can get him on here next Wednesday, you tell me what he bounced back from so fast that people don't give him shit for.
I guess for me, at the end of the day, I speak to my coon reference that I'm a coon. Where I never said that there was anything wrong with Paul Pierce did. I'm going off of at the end of the day, Paul Pierce still needs to take responsibility for what he did. So what he did got him fired. That's it at the end of the day. But just because you're saying that I don't identify with the other side and that I have no pretty much history when it comes to the black side and what I do for the black community. When you get in my box in my life and know what I do for the black community, then you wouldn't even be able to make that reference. So what I'm saying is he needs to take responsibility for his actions. And I also, if you replay this, you will hear me say that the system is messed up for the black community. So I'm identifying both sides of the spectrum. But when you identify both sides, when you identify both sides of the spectrum, you sound coonish because you also identify and you take it from the middle ground and you go, yeah, Paul Pierce got himself fired.
Bro, you didn't though. You didn't at first. You did not identify both sides. You immediately start attacking him right away. That's when I cut you off because I was like, this is some fuckery. You did not.
Well, Ronnie, look,
I said that I did
it off. Right, I let y'all niggas talk. Y'all always over talking me. Let me talk. God damn it! Like I always tag team. I always let y'all talk. What I'm saying is, you're capping. You did not identify both sides. You went straight to attacking him and saying he deserved what we got and all that other stuff. You went straight to that, straight attacking that man without addressing the fact that it's bullshit anyway. Don't you know Matt Barnes has a podcast called All the Smoke? And he works for ESPN. He smokes on his podcast and still works for ESPN. He happens to be light-skinned. That's another subject. We could talk about that another time. But what I'm saying is, you did not address both sides. Don't sit up here and act like you addressed both sides from the jump because you didn't. You were wrong. I had to point it out to you.
Once you replay it back again,
you didn't say anything about it.
Back again,
and then on top of that, I did not say you don't do nothing for the black community. Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say nothing like that. I'm saying you don't look at the other side when it comes to black issues. You don't look at the other side. You always go on some cool shit. Go watch the old episodes. You'll see yourself always on some cool shit. I'm not saying this for nothing. You be on some cool shit. You do.
You did when you say you haven't been through anything.
I didn't say
you're saying.
You said that you haven't experienced anything to even know about the other side for you.
That's coming from him, though. He said that himself. Remember, we talked on a couple of last year in podcasts. He said, Hold on. He said, and Caleb, you're the witness. He said, I don't know much about black history. He said that on this show. He said, I don't know. I haven't studied black history. I don't know nothing about black history. He said that on an episode. So that's what I was referring to.
But
you don't know nothing about black history.
You weren't. Don't try to fix me now, bro.
That means that you don't have a lot of knowledge or care about black issues because you don't study the history. You can't claim to have a passion and a knowledge about what's going on right now without knowing the history. That don't make no sense.
First of all, let's get it right again. Let's get it right again, because you trying to defend yourself, but it ain't really working. No, because when I said that,
did he not say that?
Whoa!
Did he not say
Stop
that?
talking. Let me finish. So when I said that, we were on the subject of we were talking about politics, and what I said was I don't know much about politics. I don't know much about. I didn't say I didn't know much about black history.
Yes,
I said I don't know much about history.
You said black history.
No,
you said black history.
Okay.
But listen, I'm gonna cut both of you black men off and remember that each of us have our own individual black history. So it don't matter. Right. I'm just saying, like, just don't forget that we all come from different areas, come from different backgrounds and all that. So there's things that I know Ronnie's been through that I ain't been through, y'all's probably been through, that Kalum ain't been through, and vice versa. However.
Yeah, but you can't downplay somebody else's.
I know. Listen, look, I'm gonna throw myself in this. Look, the only reason why I'm throwing myself in this is because when y'all first said what he said, and then Ronnie jumped in and you guys had your debate, I jumped in to try to defend y'all because I knew where he was coming from. You get what I'm saying? Like, I know I talk differently than he does, but I knew where his message, where he was trying to get to. So I jumped ahead of him to get to the end, and then he kind of worked his way back around so that he could still get what he was trying to say out. I don't know everything y'all has been through, but I know he knows enough to know what the hell he's talking about. But the thing that you, Ronnie, and y'all are forgetting is that this bullshit y'all throwing back and forth is exactly why this nigga Paul Pierce got fucking fired. Because this is what us niggas do. If the system is fucked, it doesn't matter if the system's been fucked since before we were born. Why we got to talk about it every time we talk about something that's fucked up? Exactly. Ronnie, you got mad, Ronnie, and I love you because I love your podcast because I've actually been paying attention. You got mad that y'all didn't say about why it's fucked up that Paul Pierce got fired. But the reality is, we should be at the point now, since we almost all knocking on 40 type shit. We passed that bullshit. We should low-key be laughing like, this nigga got fired. We got to somehow get in his DM and try to get him on one of these PolitiKans next Wednesday or one of the Wednesdays thereafter. Because that's why shit is not going to go forward. It's not even about the kids right now. It's about the bullshit. Like, weed is legal. So, I'm sorry, Matt Barnes might still have moments where he's a guest speaker, but he is not an ESPN employee anymore. Him and Stephen Smith both cut their ties after the George Floyd thing, and that's why they went all in on their podcast. They brought in Quentin Richardson because they needed somebody that was getting the attention like Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, Matt Barnes, and Steven Jackson, and that's why he came on. They're reaching really hard to get people that our age range, our demographic, our generation respects on TV because we know niggas is just getting played, so we don't want to see it no more. We don't want to hear it no more. It was a calculated move. ESPN is being powered, driven by Disney. You could shit the wrong way and Disney fucking fires you. You know what I mean? So I don't want y'all to keep going at each other like that because I know y'all ain't no coon, but he do be saying some shit off the side of his neck, and that's just how he is. I say shit out the side of my neck because that's just how I am. But I'm just saying, like, there was nothing that we could have done as black people or Paul Pierce to stop himself from getting fired if he wanted to get clout on Instagram. And that's all that shit was for. That nigga pulled a Tekashi 6ix9ine and y'all over here fighting over this shit. Let me fix my tie.
To chime in on that, as far as the whole cooning reference, cooning to me is basically diverting the black agenda and pushing the white agenda, the white man agenda. So when you use cooning in that reference, you're saying that he systematically agrees with the system, which we both, which we all pretty much say that the system is broken. So that's what you're saying, right? Is that you believe that he believes in the system. Yes. And this is why you're referring
to nobody believes in the system.
Based off several podcasts we had on here, unless he be playing around. Yes, he said several things that make me believe that he agrees with the system.
Ronnie.
Unless he be playing, I don't know if he be playing or he be serious.
Yaja Kennedy wore a bear hat 2 weeks ago because we were talking about the Lakers so much. Me and him both are sarcastic as fuck. You got to come to the AV.
I don't know when the dude is serious or not. He sounded like he was serious as hell.
You got to come out here, get a taste of the dirt. The AV is the real dirt. This is where the Flintstones was filmed. This is where a lot of movies like Nothing to Lose, all that desert scenes with Martin Lawrence, that was out here. There's a lot of stuff out here that you just, you might not be, you don't understand this yet. But I'm just saying, like, I know that he's talking the way he's talking just because that's how he talks. I don't think it's coming from a naive mindset. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not.
I don't think that it's naive. It's we all see the same things, just through different eyes. So what he's, and what I agree with Yaja Kennedy is saying is that your opinion or your experience doesn't negate mine or my experience. So not one man's experience shouldn't be, and opinion shouldn't be weighed over the other. So you can't, my experience, even though it's not your experience, well, who's to say that your experience holds more weight than mine?
Right.
That ain't the point, though. You have to be you can't be ignorant enough to not learn, though. You want to learn other experiences. You want to learn other people's experience. You want to learn other when you say as a black man that I don't know nothing about black history, and yes, you did say that, You said that on the podcast. I'm gonna find this shit and I'm gonna
but
show it.
that was over a year ago, and since then, is he still the same person that he was?
I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't
know. What I'm saying is, when you say something like that, you can't be too ignorant to know that other side. Just because you got a different experience, you don't. That's like what I said about Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was dumb as hell for getting on there saying, "Oh, well, a cop damn near saved my life." Shit, cops is cool. Cops ain't bad. You don't say that in the middle of a crisis of a string of black people getting murdered by the cop. You don't say that's your own personal experience. We're talking about as a whole.
Yeah, but Ronnie, you can't speak of
one little good personal experience with that punk ass cop and throw that out there during this crisis. You showing your people that you ain't with them. That's cooning. Cooning is right there.
No, but Ronnie, you got to remember that's the fucked up part about us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we always make excuses why we're not together. Every one thing that puts us aside is always what we focus on to keep us aside. But if we talked about coming together more often than what tears us apart, it changes the dialogue. Like, if Lil Wayne said the one time he ever had engagement with a cop was positive, and that's the only time he ever had it, because maybe right thereafter, Baby picks him up, puts him under his wing, and then he's, Birdman, Young Money, Cash Money, blah, 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 blah. Maybe he never really ever had to have an experience like that. Now, he could sympathize and empathize that his people have always been, just completely taken advantage of for all of humanity. You know what I'm saying? But if he doesn't understand why, because he's never experienced it, that only makes him uneducated in his own life. You know what I'm saying? But he doesn't have to go back and read up on Harriet Tubman, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, George Washington Carver. Like, he don't have to look up the past to figure out what's wrong now and how to make it better later. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know exactly what you're saying. It's just, I was always the nigga called coon because I'm the light skinned one. You yellow ass, coon ass, freckle face, red ass nigga. And you don't have any idea how many times I've let niggas talk like you talk to y'all. And the only way I've been able to shut them the fuck up is by when a girl walks up and they say hi to me before they kiss them on the lips. Or when they kids come and say hi to me because they know me more than they know their dad. Or the third one is niggas talk this shit when we podcast or we're on the basketball court. And if the nigga can't if they can't back up the shit they talk, I torch you, tell you to shut the fuck up when we get off the line and shake your hand and give you a hug. So that's where we're at now. It's like, you and y'all look stupid as fuck wasting this time on this goddamn podcast talking about cooning or back and forth when this is exactly what they wanted. This is the system working at its best, and you two niggas got a puppet fucking fist up your ass talking this shit because it matters. It don't fucking matter. We wasted this whole fucking Wednesday talking about 3 subjects when we had 6 because you niggas can't come together at one time. You know what I'm saying? But this is the yellow niggas saying it because yellow niggas can say this shit because I'm not Drake. You feel me? I'm not Drake. So I can say this and nobody say nothing else. And it's crazy.
Well, it's not so crazy because it ain't personal. I hate you.
That's the problem. I know. Neither one of y'all hate each other. It's just this is us in this fucked up ass system. But
it's the dialogue that's needed, though. It's the dialogue that's needed. And yes, my delivery is a certain way. I talk a certain way. If you know me, that's just how I talk. I got a certain way I deliver. It's got a certain way I talk. It ain't nothing personal against nobody. Everybody that know me know I'm a good-hearted person. I just got to deliver. But I think it's a dialogue that's needed. If I feel that you lacking in a certain, I'm passionate about Black history and the black man's fight in America. That's what I'm passionate about. So excuse me if it comes off as something different, but that's what I'm passionate about. So to see a black man not be educated in that field or not care as much, it kind of does rub me the wrong way. So the dialogue is needed to say, okay, you ain't strong in this area. You ain't looking at this area. Let me let you know my perspective so you could try to see it from this way. So you could try to understand from that area. That's the purpose of the dialogue. It's not a waste of time. I'm going to go back and think about this episode. I'm sure he'll go back and think about this episode and take things that he said, take things that you said, take things that Kalum said, and think about all that shit and apply it to life. So the dialogue is not pointless. The dialogue is needed.
Always. No, you know what I mean, though. I'm just saying as far as this bantering back and forth.
What's up, y'all? What you got to say? Final thoughts. We got to wrap this up.
Well, I guess my final thought is, if I didn't know the history, I'm still man enough. I've been on this, what? I've been on every politician podcast since I got on the first one.
Right.
So me not knowing the history, I'm getting educated in the history on areas that I am lacking in, or that getting it from a different perspective. So me not learning something, I get on this mug every week, every Wednesday. I got things I gotta do at 12 a.m. and I still get on this thing every week, religiously. Kalum says he needs me, I'm on here. I hit Kalum up and I asked Kalum, yo, we politicking today? So I'm getting the education of it in a different perspective and everything like that. The word coon, I've been called other things. So that don't really matter. For me, it was when it became personal and it was basically I haven't been through shit. That's when it became personal. Now for me, I'm going to now make the decision if I'm going to continue to be on this. So that's my final take on
it. Well, I'll go ahead and start the shout outs. Shout out to Yaja Kedit, shout out to Ronnie, shout out to Kalum, shout out to PolitiKan Broadcast, shout out to Man Things, Brand of Encouragement, shout out to My Thing, Focus on the Future, shout out to HNS 420. Man, shout out to the AV, because you know we out here in the dirt doing big things. Stay tuned. Nobody else got no shout out
to Brand of Encouragement, Focus on the Future, Running Wild, Politician Podcast, HNS. Shout out to everybody that's doing something. And yeah.
Shout out to the PolitiKan Forum, HNS 420, Brand of Encouragement, Focus on the Future. Shout out to the HNS 420 team, Higher Learning. Shout out to everybody that keep watching us. And looking forward, you know, this podcast game is a grown man game. You know what I'm saying? You can't get in your feelings on here. You get off the podcast and you go right back to dapping it up. Me and Kalum have gotten many arguments on podcasts and screaming at each other. As soon as we turn this motherfucker off, we go outside and light up. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't nothing personal, dog. It ain't nothing personal. Don't let anything that's said on here get to you personally. You got to just, you know, this is a show. It's entertainment. It was a damn entertainment show. I guarantee you, whoever watching this shit enjoyed the fuck out of it. And that's what it's all about. So don't take it personal, dog. If I offended you in a personal way, I apologize to you, brother. Don't take it personal. It's a show, and we did our damn thing. And come back next week and do it the fuck again.
Facts.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, man.
Now, I created this platform specifically for this. When I first started this, we only talked about serious subjects. And I threw in the sports and the current events just to lighten it up because I didn't want it to be too heavy. But the whole purpose of this platform and the whole purpose of this show is to tap into these subjects where we as black men, we're in rooms with each other all the time, but we never have these conversations. And until these conversations occur, do we know that, you know what I'm saying? I done been in rooms with homies for 10 years. And then we have a conversation about snitching, and everybody but me talking about, nigga, I ain't no gangster, I'm a snitch. And I'm standing there looking like, damn, I'm in a room full of niggas that'll snitch on me. But it's just the fact that these conversations is what brings us together as a people. And these are the things that we've been avoiding as a people. And these are the things that we don't have, these discords. And this is why platforms like this are so popular and so necessary, because the mainstream media is not going to allow two black men to have this conversation like you guys have, right?
Facts.
Exactly.
Damn, that's right.
Because there's a lot of people that come from a Yajaketis background that knows exactly where he's coming from. And it's a lot of people that come from your background that knows exactly where you're coming from.
Right.
So because as a people, we don't have these conversations. This is absolutely necessary. And this is exactly why I created this platform. So that we can have these conversations as men. And we can go back and after this and be like, you know what? I gotta better myself. What can I do? What can I learn? Where am I lacking?
Right.
And this is why I love doing this. This is therapy for me because every show I'm going back and I'm like, okay, well, Alvin brought up a point of view that I never thought of. Ronnie brought up some history facts that I never knew. Yajaketit came with some energy that just livened me, lifted my spirits.
Yeah.
It's things that you're getting from each individual on this platform that is necessary for all of us. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And that's why I love doing this shit, man. And
definitely.
And this is just we got a lot more work to do, man.
We do.
Black men that is always pushing the community and doing it the right way, not just saying, not just preaching, not just what was the nigga Daryl Jackson cheating on his wife, but talking about he a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Not on no fuck shit like that. Like niggas, when this screen goes off, I'm getting back to the work. When y'all get off, Josh Cat say he got something to do at 12. Because I know when he gets off this podcast, he getting back to the work. Alvin, I know in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Back to the work. You probably up at 5 in the morning, back to the work.
Right. Always.
Right.
And that's what matters, you know what I'm saying?
That's what matters.
Yeah. So I don't know what all y'all niggas gonna do out there, but it's obvious that me and these three men on this show with me is finna get to it, man. PolitiKan the podcast. We out of here.